killed a 22-year-old woman in Montgomery County, and was it an accident? Those are both questions police are asking.
The director of the Kentucky Reptile Zoo talks to us about his very close call when he was bitten by a dangerous snake.
WKYT investigates why are so many of Kentucky's rural hospitals now in critical condition.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 6.
Good evening. A mystery tonight along a rural Montgomery County road. Investigators are trying to figure out what caused the death of a woman who was found in the middle of the road.
They say 22-year-old Katrina Craver was found late Friday night along Nest Egg Road near Jeffersonville. Today, Victor Puente talked to Craver's father. It's our top story at 6.
Because, like I said, it's a small community. Somebody's going to say something.
Or so Edward Craver hopes. He was in Lexington when his daughter, 22-year-old Katrina Craver, was struck and killed Friday night. So far, police haven't been able to piece together how she died.
Intentional, unintentional, or just clearly an accident. And at this particular point, we have a theory on what took place.
But they aren't saying if that theory will turn this death investigation into a criminal one. Craver says Katrina and her boyfriend were at his home when they got into an argument, and he went to a friend's house. Then she went to the road.
I guess she went up there either looking for which way he was going, because you can see the whole levee.
A short time later, a driver found her in the road. She was taken to the hospital, but police say the head trauma she had suffered was too much to survive.
Somebody drove by and probably whacked her with a mirror or something.
The sheriff and one of his detectives came back out to Nest Egg Road earlier today to re-examine the scene. He said at this point their investigation is still wide open.
We went over different scenarios on the possibilities of what could have happened. We're going to look at the evidence, we're going to step back and say what caused the death of Katrina.
Ed Craver says his family needs to know how it happened and needs to know who was involved.
I still can't believe she's gone. I still can't believe whoever hit her just left her there to, die.
In Montgomery County, Victor Puente, WKYT.
Craver's family has set up an account on GoFundMe, which you can find by searching for Katrina Craver. They say that money will be used to help pay for her funeral.
Fire destroyed a well-known Laurel County restaurant, but tonight the family that owns it has promised to rebuild. The fire started just after midnight at Weaver's Hot Dogs on Main Street in London. And tonight, firefighters still are not sure what caused the fire. Weaver's has been a part of downtown London for 75 years. Employees say the restaurant meant a lot more than just a good meal for the customers.
Somebody come in, they would know 4 or 5 people that's sitting down eating, and the laughs and the times that they've had here was just memories, memories you'll never forget.
The fire also damaged Bob's Ready to Wear, a clothing store next door, but firefighters say a firewall saved other nearby businesses. The owners of Weaver say it's important for them to rebuild and stay on Main Street.
Well, many of us began the day with some light snow, and you probably noticed some much colder air moving in. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look now at your forecast. Hi, Chris.
Hi, Amber. Still a few snowflakes that are out there across parts of central and eastern Kentucky. We've been picking up on some of those both on Defender and our live Skycam as well. Right now, it's just a couple here at the station on Winchester Road. Temperature is at 25 degrees, though with a northwesterly wind at 9 miles an hour, feels like it is now 16 degrees for Lexington. Live First Alert Defender across the bluegrass country. Zoning in on downtown Lexington, seeing some returns, not only for Lexington, but across the entire bluegrass region. Now, a little farther to the east, you get into that I-64 corridor down toward the Mountain Parkway. That's where Defender has been picking up on the bulk of the action over the past hour and change or so. You get under a little heavier burst of snow showers, may put down a little bit of a coating. Clouds trying to break up a little bit ago. Now we're back into some overcast conditions across the entire region. All of that courtesy of a northwesterly wind flow that will kind of slacken off just a little bit. The deeper we go into the evening, that will allow for some clearing skies to begin to take place. Focus of the forecast when I come back in about 10 minutes. We'll be on tracking another Arctic cold front into town. We'll tell you when that arrives and if it can bring any more snow to the bluegrass state. That's again in less than 10 minutes.
Chris, we'll see you then. Thank you. A man now admits he robbed 6 banks in 4 states, including Kentucky. The U.S. Attorney's Office says 49-year-old William McBride Jr. pled guilty to 6 counts of robbery. Investigators say he stole more than $21,000 from the banks during the robberies last summer. Those banks included a Chase Bank on Clays Mill Road in Lexington and another Chase Bank on Nicholasville Road. Prosecutors say McBride could receive 25 years in prison for each robbery. Along with Kentucky, they say he robbed banks in Ohio, Indiana, and West Virginia.
For years, he's been extracting venom from some of the world's most dangerous snakes for research. This weekend, that work nearly turned deadly for the director of the Kentucky Reptile Zoo. He stopped breathing after a South American rattlesnake bit him. And tonight, he's talking to us about the close call. Sean Moody has the story new at 6.
James Harrison runs the Kentucky Reptile Zoo. Inside is the largest collection of venomous snakes in the world. His job is to milk the snakes and use the venom for anti-cancer research. But last Friday, the milking process didn't go as planned. He put a South American rattlesnake in a tube for venom extraction.
I'm holding the tube, and the tube, when it went sideways, it cracked the tube open and came out, and it hit me in the wrist.
He quickly called for help, and a coworker took him to the hospital. On his way, he says he passed out and stopped breathing just 20 minutes after that bite.
My eyes start drooping. As my eyes start drooping, they won't open. My throat starts closing a little bit, and then it goes down to your abdomen, shuts off your diaphragm, and you go into respiratory rest.
After several doses of this anti-venom that he always keeps on hand and 3 days in the ICU, Harrison is home. This isn't his first bite.
I've been envenomated while extracting venom 9 times in 38 years. I average 600 to 1,000 venom extractions a week.
He's lost a finger to a desert horn viper. After a number of other bites and ICU stays, Harrison says his work is not complete.
I'm doing it to save lives. The venom saves lives, and I'm giving something back.
Harrison lives here on site. He says he has to go lay down and rest now so he can get back to milking. In Powell County, Sean Moody, WKYT.
What a job he has. Harrison says he will get back to milking the snakes in the next couple of weeks.
If you live in Kentucky, there is a 50% chance you live in a rural part of the state, but many hospitals in these areas are struggling to survive. In fact, about 65% of hospitals classified as rural are actually losing money. Investigative reporter Miranda Combs looks at why so many of these hospitals are in critical condition.
It demands attention. Sitting at an intersection in Fleming County, its presence, though new and pristine, is a problem.
Oh, listen, I've been a lot of sleepless nights.
This Fleming County hospital is on borrowed time right now.
It's not in the position to where it's making money, I can tell you that.
Hospital board member and judge executive Larry Foxworthy says the $30 million facility built in 2008
Yeah, would you call me, please?
has about a $1 million payment each year, with not much money coming in. Sources tell WKYT the average census here is running at about 40% capacity.
Since that period of time has collected, and it's just like a big snowball going downhill.
There are 65 hospitals classified as rural by the Kentucky Hospital Association. The last report available from 2012 found 65% of those hospitals reported negative operating budgets and looking for a lifeline, like Fleming County.
It's a little more attractive to someone that would be looking to acquire than it would be to a hospital like, unfortunately, like Nicholas County was. You know, there's a little older building and equipment was outdated, and of course, as you well know, they've had to close.
I mean, everybody says that the hospital was a Band-Aid station, but still, they saved many lives here in the county.
And Jimmy Price was one of them.
I was on the verge of a heart attack, and my son come and took me to the hospital out here, and they airlifted me on to UK.
But last year, the Nicholas County Hospital had to close.
It cost the hospital more to operate than they were getting paid, you know, for the services they were providing.
Judge Mike Pryor attributes much of the reason for the hospital's closing to the Affordable Care Act, more Medicaid patients, which ends up paying the hospital less for services.
They just weren't able to function.
Now that we have all these new patients, all these more patients who are paying less than the cost of care, these hospitals are burning through money a lot faster.
Dr. Daniel Mangiardo met us at his London office. He calls Hazard his home.
Dominic was 28 days old.
He remembers hearing the news of his brother's death in the late 1950s.
But if he lived in a city, he'd be alive today. And where you live should not determine what kind of health care that you get. And we're moving back in that direction by the changes that we're seeing right now by these struggling rural hospitals.
The closing of Nicholas County's hospital has added about 30 extra minutes of travel to reach a hospital for those living in that county.
And if you lose that stop, if you lose that hospital which used to take care of you, then you've lost those minutes, you've lost heart, you've lost brain, and that's an extremely poor quality health care.
The way it is right now, all rural hospitals are going to have to make dramatic changes.
Foxworthy hoping the newness of these halls will lure in help.
If that means affiliation, partnerships, even acquisition from a larger company or hospital. But we want to look at all the options.
I spoke to Kentucky One Health and Baptist Health and asked them both the question, are you in the business of buying up rural hospitals in financial distress? Baptist Health says all hospitals are having to change their models for patient care. In regard to rural hospitals, they say they may need to move to more community clinics and away from acute care hospitals. Kentucky One Health released this statement.
Overcoming the barriers to health care across rural communities is a priority to Kentucky One Health. We remain committed to the patients we serve in many rural counties.
The true cure for this long term is that the patients that don't need to go in the hospital need to be treated as outpatients.
A big shift for counties counting on the jobs these buildings provide and the lives that surround them.
And officials with the Cabinet for Health and Family Services say many of these rural hospitals are now receiving more in Medicaid reimbursements in recent months as part of the Affordable Care Act and have shown significant financial growth. So obviously multiple factors seem to be contributing to this problem, guys.
Absolutely, and they're looking for a lot of help. Are they looking to any of the university hospitals to be of help?
I spoke to UK and they said they're building their heart and stroke programs at a lot of these rural hospitals as a way to help them out. So everyone's helping as much as they can, it sounds like.
All right, Miranda, thank you for that report.
Kentucky.
It is usually hard to find compromise in Washington, but some folks here in Kentucky hope a unique gift will change that.
The Kentucky Distillers Association and the Henry Clay Center for Statesmanship sent a bourbon barrel of compromise to the nation's capital. Today, bourbon distillers poured their bourbon into that barrel. It was then sent off to Washington, D.C., where Senator Mitch McConnell and others from the Kentucky congressional delegation will meet tomorrow. Organizers hope President Obama will also take part.
Who knows? We've got a pretty good guest list, and we've been told that there's heightened security, so, you never know what's going to happen.
After Republicans won control of the House and Senate in last November's elections, the president said he would like to have a drink of bourbon with new Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell.